Win a Pageant, episode 50. I created this step-by-step process after training thousands of women across the U.S. to win. Now you can have access to these winning strategies when you join me every Wednesday. Let's win a pageant. Hey girl, welcome to another episode of Win a Pageant. I'm your coach, Alycia Darby. Now the best time to capitalize on pageant resale, whether you are buying or selling, is when pageant season is in full swing, and that is right now, spring and summer. So in today's episode, I'm going to break down the best way to resell your used pageant wardrobe so that you can sell it fast at a fair price without having to feel like you basically give it away. But I also want you to bless those that you give it to. So we're going to cover knowing your customer, how to showcase your wardrobe best, how to price your item, and how to ship it with grace. So our first step is to know your customer. Now, we always start with the end in mind, as you know, and in this case, it's your customer. So this is the person who will ultimately end up buying your used wardrobe. Most of the women that are buying resale items are competing in a local or state pageant. It's very rare that someone's going to compete in a Miss USA or Mrs. America buying a used gown, although it has happened. But buyers are rarely in their in-it-to-win-it year, but they are very concerned with exact color, fit, and cost of the actual item and of shipping. So it's vital to be absolutely clear in your post so that you have happy customers and so that they know what they're getting themselves into. Also, it's important to speak their language. So you're not going to sell a beautiful pageant gown to a pageant woman if your description says, this gown didn't score well on me, so I'm got to get rid of it or something, okay? Trust me, no one will buy it. Instead, although you do have to be honest, you want to leave the story out of your description. So you don't have to tell the story of how this gown did or did not work for you, but rather allow your customer to envision how this gown will or will not work for them. To do that, you have to showcase your gown correctly. Most sites will require you to upload pictures of your wardrobe and a description. Now, many people like to use the pictures from the designer's website, and I know why, because they're gorgeous. They're like absolutely beautiful. They're professional photos. It worked for them. It should work for you. But that actually is not the case when you are reselling wardrobe. In fact, it's better to have pictures that you've taken yourself. You want them to be great pictures still, of course, but you don't want them to be too good to be true because people then aren't going to trust you. If you have images of this dress on stage, that is even better because they're beautiful and they're on a real person. When you can see a dress on a real human being, the buyer is able to estimate size. So in the description, of course, you also want to include the details of size, the exact color, any blemishes, even small ones, of course. Like, for example, if the beading is undone on the backside because you've sat too much in it or something, you got to mention that. And I would also upload a specific picture that showcases that. So, for example, if you have on the underside of the train, there's some stains from it dragging on the flooring or something, flip it over and take a photo of just that. Because oftentimes in our minds, when we see that in a description that there's a blemish, we overdo it. Like we're like, oh, there's a small stain in the lower left-hand corner. And you're like, in your mind, you think it's like the size of a softball or something, right? But really, it's like if you put it next to a quarter and took a picture, it'd be this little dot. So it wouldn't really matter that much. So those types of things you just want to be mindful of. Take pictures of everything. Take them of pictures of actually you in them. You can cut off your head if you want to or whatever, but take a photograph of someone wearing it because that makes a big, big difference. Selling it on a hanger, like if you hang up your dress on a hanger and take a picture of it, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to sell because people cannot get a sense of what that actually looks like. And it's got to be on a mannequin. It's got to be on a model. It's got to be on your daughter. It's got to be on yourself, whomever. To sell the thing, it's got to be showcased in a way that it would be purchased. Okay, moving right along. How do you price your resold wardrobe? Well, I would suggest you always start at 50% of your purchase price. This is because the dress is likely at least a season old, plus it has been worn probably once or twice or 7 times, who knows. It may have even been altered. So if nothing else is different, let's say that there are no stains, there are no missing beads, there's no odd custom dimensions, then 50% of what you bought it for is where you want to start. Now, if there are other issues with the dress, like if it does have missing beading, or if there is a small stain, or if the dimensions are so unique that the customer is going to have to redo it all together, You want to consider taking off additional dollar amounts based on what the customer will need to do to fix the gown. So if they've got to do a whole big stain remover thing, or if they've got to restitch the beads, or if they need to re-alter it or whatever. Now, granted, they may not do that. If it's a tiny little stain, they might not even do it. But you still need to remove that from the price because that's what it's worth. It's worth a little bit less if, to get it back to perfect, they have to make some changes or fix some things here and there. So that's what you want to think about. That's the best way to price it, is think, okay, what would someone have to do to fix this to get it back in its original condition? Now, as a side note, let me just tell you that if you own a gown, for example, or any piece of wardrobe that you bought for $100 or less, instead of trying to resell the gown for $50, just give it to somebody that is close to you that you know can benefit from it. Now, I know that it's hard to envision yourself giving away a dress you spent $100 on or something, okay? Because oftentimes we think, well, heck, it's worth $100. I spent $100 on it, and so I deserve that back. Or, we tell ourselves these stories about how, well, if I can get $10, it's better than nothing, But I have given out countless cocktail dresses, prom gowns to pageant women, all these different things, pieces of wardrobe for less than $100, but to them it's a big deal because they might just be getting started in their pageant career. And these things go a long way. My clients can attest to getting a text from me saying like, hey, would you wear this if I sent it to you? And I take a picture of it, or I send them one from my Facebook page or something. And I love seeing their pictures on social media in my wardrobe. And oftentimes girls will even like tag me and put a little winky face like, thanks, Alycia, and it makes me feel really good that I was able to sew into their pageant career in that way. So as you know, pageant women always need gowns and cocktail dresses and extra wardrobe for appearances and stuff. So it is truly a treasure when someone that you know gives you a dress. So don't be the girl that tries to nickel and dime everybody. Just be generous, and that will come back, I promise. In the spirit of generosity, I want to talk about the best way to ship your item to your buyer. Once you have a buyer, you want to be sure that the dress or the shoes or the earrings, whatever you're selling, is freshly cleaned. It really needs to arrive clean, and you want to ship it immediately. You know how pageant girls wait until the very last minute to get a piece of wardrobe that they need, and then they track it every half an hour until it arrives, okay? So they will absolutely appreciate your quick speed of implementation. A great way of doing this is to, once you've taken all the photographs and you've got it all prepared, I would just go ahead and package it. And I would package it, leave it open so you're not sealing it right away, but I would package it so that it's ready to roll. All you have to do is add the address, add a little note, and ship it. The things you want to think about when you're shipping your package is you want to really think like you are sending a bottle of fine wine to the Queen of England. Okay, so that might be an extreme, but you really do want to take it seriously because people are unwrapping this gift from you. They just bought a beautiful piece of wardrobe that they're excited about wearing. You don't want to send it all rolled up and shoved into a box somehow, So typically if I send a cocktail dress or a gown or something like that, I will wrap it in tissue paper and then put it inside of a garment bag, a fabric garment bag. So I don't pack it with plastic because it could get, damaged in that plasticky and all without any air and stuff like that. And then I gently fold it and put it into a priority box. I put the buyer's name very clearly handwritten with love. And then I also actually enclose a sweet little note just letting them know that this piece of wardrobe was really great to me and that I want it to be good for them too. So a great buying experience goes a long, long way. In episode 51, I'm going to cover with you where you can buy and sell your pageant wardrobe. Because, for example, if you just don't know that many people who want to buy it, or if you are really an interesting size and you don't have anyone in your circle that is that same size, then there really are some great places online that you can buy or sell. But you've got to be smart. You have to be a smart seller and a wise buyer so that you don't get trapped in a bad deal. You don't want it to be uncomfortable in any way. So I want you to have the very best wardrobe, and I want you to be able to pay it forward to your other pageant sisters, because that, ladies, is how you win a pageant. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next Win a Pageant Wednesday. Hey there, I'm Alycia Darby, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that last video. If you totally loved it and got something from it, would you just click subscribe right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel? Hey, I am here for you, and I've got so many more trainings and videos for you. In fact, this one would be a really great one to watch next. Or if that topic doesn't interest you, then try this one. It's my most recent video training. So I think both of these would be really great for you. Thank you again so much for subscribing. I am honored to be your coach. I'll see you again soon.